guys and girls, Jokester here, bringing another episode of FTB Direwolf20. We are up to episode 6, and in episode 6, we've got all kinds of fun stuff going on. Say hi, Maurice. There you go. Yeah, he wanted to be on camera. He begged me. Okay. Time for the update of what we've done in between episodes. Haven't done a lot, but I want to show you. What we noticed is that, let me get a free-hand. I really don't like having something. There we go. All right, so we thought that this guy worked on RF. I swear it did. It does not. So what I've had to do is there's two different ways, and I'll show you the two different ways I've done this. First one is by setting the conduit to be redstone triggered. And so I set up this sequencer. 500 here. It seems to be doing good. Only a little bit of canola plants are growing. And this guy is then set on loop 1, 500. And so it runs for 500 ticks, or roughly, what is that, 25 seconds or so. And it, yeah, that's right. And then it shuts off and stays inactive. And then this is handling the overflow. So if we look at this, we have 444 seeds. I've got a void upgrade in here, 133 extra canola, 131 now, as it just pulled out. I've set this to be in and out with a very low priority. So it feeds these guys first, and then it feeds these guys first. As you see, it's just filling up, and then any overflow will go into here. And so I've always got a backlog. If for some reason the timing gets a little behind and it needs to pull from reserve, so be it. Pulls from the reserve. All this is now all full, and these don't run as often. So much better. I just have to get this to stop running incessantly. Let's go outside and take a look at the other way of doing this. So the other way of doing this is to put a capacitor bank here with this output set to our redstone signal, right? So this is triggered on redstone signal output. So that then leaves me with tons of flax seeds, rice seeds. This is all filling up over here. We've got 8 stacks of everything. I had to put void upgrades because they were flowing in here like I had planned. The seeds can go in over here as they fill up, and it's doing pretty good. Now it looks pretty sparse right now, but just give it a second, right? The ticks will kick in and it will continue on. So what I've done on this one is a longer delay here, but then just running twice. 2 different ways of doing this. Okay, so pretty much everything else is remaining the same. We've got a little bit something up there to show you, but this is the other thing. One of my subscribers had asked, can you get this seared furnace to work? And the short answer is yes. So seared furnace is a new thing from Tinker's Construct, and this is a 3x3x3 setup. And this is very straightforward. It's just these seared stones. So let's take a look at the seared stone, and we need the seared furnace. So the seared furnace controller is just with a furnace in the middle of it, a vanilla furnace wrapped around seared blocks. So I made myself a whole bunch more seared blocks. Remember, I only made a little bit over a stack to use this. So it was roughly instead of 64, it was about 70 blocks, 74 blocks, something like that, or bricks to make this whole setup. This here obviously took a lot more. So I just made more, cooked it all up. It's not too bad. Let me show you how to build this, or the structure of it. It's pretty straightforward. So see, there's a hole in the center. So it's 3x3 on the bottom, all the way up, and 3 high on the side with a hole in the middle. So what we can do is we can put in, I'll show you, get this out of the way. I'll put this one in. So see, there's one little hole in the middle, and then this here. Now the other trick is that this is the fluid tank, and so it cannot go, actually, can it go here? That's a good question. I think, yeah, so it pretty much has to be on any of the borders. It cannot be in the middle. So if we were to widen this out to be a 4x4 or a 5x5, it can go all the way up to 11x11x11 in any combination, just like the regular smelter. This must. If you take anything away from this little section here, is this sear tank must be on one of the borders. Okay? It cannot go in a center block. It cannot go right here. I will show you. There we go, got it. And just so you can see, this being the center block, let's see if it will work here. And we'll put this guy back. See how it doesn't work? It must go on an edge. This is not an edge. This is a middle side. So if I were to put it here, or even down here, let's do it down there. So that's the only restriction. Give me that back. All right, and see how it works. What does this do, you might ask? Well, this is a furnace. So let's run back inside, and I will grab, so I was out harvesting chickens, along with rubber plants, but let's grab these chickens here. So if I wanted to cook things up very fast, it does 16 at a time when it cooks. So if I were to throw that in there, it does up to 16 at a time. And of course it uses lava to cook. And so, yeah, that's its sole function. So you can cook mass quantities. Now, frankly, when I look at this and I say, all right, you know, well, let's just see how long this would take. All right, so 16 times whatever, right, or divided by whatever length. This is probably a good full minute. All right, so I want to show you. So yeah, I mean, it's at least 20 seconds by now, and maybe 30 seconds by now, and it's about halfway through. So I'm looking at that saying, okay, that's halfway done in about 30 seconds, so maybe a minute total per stack. If I were to throw it in here, right, and do this, I want to see how long it might take. To me, that's going to be a lot quicker. You know, so just use it with perspective, right? If you want to do lots and lots of things, it can do it in parallel. If you have a ton of food you want to cook up, I wonder if that will work with stone. So let's go up there and try stone. All right, and there. Yep. So let's say you want to cook a lot of stone. That would be one way to do it, right? There's where you get the advantage, is it will parallelize it and do 16 at a time. So instead of cooking however long it takes, I mean, if you're doing small batches, use something like the alloy smelter, where it does 3 at a time, especially when it's upgraded. But if you're using large stacks and you want to cook up a whole bunch of stuff at a time, then absolutely use this. So that's pretty cool. Okay, let's go back up here. We are getting kind of dark, so let me sleep real quick. Oh, monsters. That's the downside of having the villagers here, is that if there's any monsters near here, then I can't sleep. They are like literally right below my base in some of the caverns. Okay, so this is rubber trees. You might ask, why do they look so weird? Well, it's because this is a trick. I'll owe it to Direwolf. And so what I do is I take a rubber tree. I went out and collected rubber trees from a dense forest somewhere right around in here. And so I grow this, and then I remove the tree, the leaves, and I find one of these. Okay, so I will grab it with the moving wand, grab that one little section. I'll go over here. I'll put it right there. That's it. It's how straightforward. And so, yeah, so then we will chop these down. Go. Okay, so why do I want rubber trees? Well, it's because I want to get in here with a crafting grid, and so we will take some of this here. Yeah, good enough. Oh, I hate this. The Direwolf pack, you can't right click to select a there we go. It just acts really weird. You can't right-click to select a whole stack or all of it. Okay, so once I do that, come on, let me out. Okay, once I do that, I'm going to collect this rubber. Now, you notice how it flies all over? Well, I don't like that. So let's do something. Even if I jump up, it's just flying all over. We need a magnet. We need a magnet. Let's go do something about that. Okay, so I'm going to collect some more rubber, and that is because as much as I complain about, let me see, is he right here? Let's just check. No, he's back in the wall somewhere. All right. So as much as I complain about IC2, we're going to have to do it in this pack. Just a little bit, though. Just a little bit. Don't worry if you don't like it as much as I do. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. Okay, so first thing is first. We're going to do something about a magnet. But you see I've got 36 levels. Let's do something about this. Now, experience. So this experience solidifier is a great way of doing it. We haven't set up the empower yet, so we will do that. But in the meantime, we are going to go for the standard experience obelisk. So we need an experience rod, which is this. I'll show you how this works in case you've never seen this before. I'm going to need this, and let's grab a capacitor, make our machine frame. Should have everything. Good. And then we make our obelisk. I need 3 more. Down here, there it is. 3 more. And hey, look at that. I didn't actually grab too much for a change. Okay. So we're going to throw this somewhere right when we walk in. How about right there? Perfect. I'm going to dump my experience. Now it's all nice and safe. Okay, cool. Here's something cool. I was flying around in the nether, and I have gotten a whole bunch of glowstone. You see I have a bunch of glowstone here, a bunch of glowstone here. I shouldn't say flying around. I was running around because we can't fly yet, but I was running around in the nether. In my infinite choices, I actually have the ability to build a mechanism jetpack, and I am able to fly around over there. But here, alas, not yet. So, hint, hint, I see 2. Anyway, I was flying or running around, and I did explore quite a bit, and I grabbed a whole bunch of nether quartz and just gathering resources, right? Well, I found roughly around 5 draconian dusts throughout all my stuff, and it really wasn't 5 different instances. It was a couple of them were twice. Now, draconium is about the draconium. If you see the recipe here, it is this stuff right here. Or you can see it right here. It looks like that, and in the overworld, it's pretty rare in the overworld. However, in the nether, let's see, I thought there was a nether version. Let's look it up this way. Draconium, yeah, in the nether it looks like this. And it's actually sort of hard to see what it looks like. It's just subtly twinkling. But it's not horrible. I mean, you can see, you're like, what is that? It looks a little bit weird. Well, you get anywhere from 1 to 3 without fortune in it. So I averaged around 2, a little bit over 2, which was actually pretty good considering I don't have much fortune on here. It's about as rare as diamonds in the overworld as it is in the nether. So that'll kind of give you an idea how rare it is. It is kind of rare, but it's not super, super duper rare. Okay, so we've got some draconium dust, and I want to grab a couple of these guys, and that's because I'm going to cook them up. Now, if I had Silk Touch, and I get one of these ingots, if I had Silk Touch, I would then be able to bring it back and process it and get much more than roughly around 2 on average. So I want to build, at Draconium, I want to build this Item Dislocator. I've never used it before. I've seen it used quite a bit, but I've never actually used it. It needs 2 of these, and we need 4 dusts plus blaze power plus an Eye of Ender. Well, I've got my stuff going out there. I'm actually doing okay on ender pearls already. I've got my ender lilies going on out there. Let's grab, those are already in my project chest, but I need my blaze rods. Now, if we look at the blaze rod, remember, do not put this in here. It just only gives you 2. Unless you're overflowing in blaze rods, yeah, don't do that. So what we want is blaze, we want the powder. We'll look at the recipe. If you just put it in your crafting grid, you only get 2. But if we put it in the sag mill, we get 4. If we put it in a crusher, you get 2 plus a 40% chance of 3. We put it in a crusher, you get 4. Here's the macerator, which is the most at 5. But IC2, no, that's not why we're doing IC2 stuff. And that's it. That's all the options we have. So we're going to put it in here. And I'm going to have the flint in there. Now, I could make dark steel balls, which have a bigger chance. It just uses obsidian. We don't have a renewable way of getting obsidian yet. So I'm going to put this in, and it's going to give us 4. Just as advertised. Let's see if we get more. Ha-ha! Look at that. I got, instead of 8, I got 12. So it did kick in. And this is because we have bonus output, and that kicked in, and the main output, and so on. So that's really cool. And it gave us sulfur dust, which, frankly, I don't think we're going to use, but I'll throw it in here just in case. Okay, item locator. Right click, item locator. There it is right there, dislocator. So we need this guy, and we need just one Eye of Ender, which I can now make one of them. And we should have everything that we need. We have a dislocator. And this is shift right click to bind your current coordinates as well as the direction you're facing and the dimension you're currently in. And I believe it will return you to that location. But I think there's only a certain amount of uses. There's a advanced version of this, I believe, that it allows you to, of this dislocator, that allows you to feed it with ender pearls, and it becomes, instead of the 12 of this one, it allows you to do a lot more. So let's use that, and now I have a magnet, and I believe we can just shift right click and it turns it on and off. So if we were to throw those out there, and I turn this on, ching, now I've got a magnet. Not too bad, not too bad. I know that draconium dust, everybody says, oh my god, it's so rare, and it kind of is, right? Don't get me wrong, it is kind of rare, but it happens to be something I found, and magnets are something I like early game, and it was important enough to use some of that on it. So I'm out here collecting my stone. That's the way it comes out. It just stays in here. There's no input and output, kind of like we've seen, and so it has cooked up the stone, which is really cool. I'm going to grab me a stack. Oh, that wasn't a stack. I forgot to shift and shift click. There we go. So let's take this down here. And you notice I'm using this rice bread. Okay, so I haven't really talked about this yet, but the rice bread is very simple. You just make the rice dough and you cook that. So the rice dough is 3 pieces of rice for 2, so it's 3 halves. Now there's another item in here that I'm doing over in my other series. It's called spaghetti, and that's just 2 different ways. I wanted to feed myself 2 different ways, and that's with a wheat. It makes noodle, and so you make a knife. We've seen how to make this knife already. That's pretty straightforward. So it is 1 piece of wheat. It's 3 pieces of wheat effectively, plus a bowl. These stack, so you don't have to worry about that. The bowls stack as well. So yes, you end up with this in your inventory, but this does a bit more. So it looks like the rice does. So I've got 4.5 meat sickles that are missing. Let's turn here so you can see. So 4.5 missing. If I were to eat this, it gives me a full 4, right? So now I just have half missing. So that's pretty good for rice bread. So all I have to do is I can take this and do that, and now I have made 42 different rice doughs, and I can cook that up, and that will make me rice bread. And then that gives me 4 meatsicles or hunger bars, and it fills me up. So, which is really cool. So now I'm sustaining on that. I believe this does 4 as well. I don't know. I don't have any mod that tells me how much it handles. And if I hold down Control, that has been turned off on this mod pack, which is a config setting. I could turn that back on. But even then, I don't think it shows me how much saturation and how much hunger it gives. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's a good way to feed yourself. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this in there. Actually, I could make 1 more. Why not? Let's just go ahead and make 1 more. There we go. Or I should say 2 more. Throw those in there. And yeah, that's pretty straightforward. And it's nice and easy. So, okay, the other thing I want to show you is that if we look at something, we're not really surviving on coal anymore, but should you be using coal? I want to show you what you can do with coal. If I were to take standard coal and put this in here, and let's say we put that in there, and it gives a certain amount of burn time. That is, in case you've never noticed, it's 1600 ticks for that burn time, and it will generate a certain amount of RF. It's a little skewed because we have other stuff going on here, but in theory this should be the amount of 1 piece of coal gives you, 1600 ticks. Now, if I were to take this over here, remember our resonator? We did this last episode. I've even upgraded the speed, and I put it in here. It now gives us this cool new stuff called red coal. Red coal has a burn time of 8 times as long as you've got the GP. If I were to remove my GP infrastructure, it would still only be the same 1600. But it now has 12,800. So that's really cool. 8 times the amount, and anything that uses coal can then take advantage of that. So if I had a coal generator outside, right, instead of this solar panel, then I could absolutely use that instead. So I can throw that in there, and let's go back over here and check. And yeah, we've got another one. And it's not like I'm going to need this, but I'm just showing you as an option. And so we wait here, and the Stirling generator actually shows you how long of runtime you have. We haven't made a Stirling generator here yet, but this will now last 8 times as long and give us 8 times as much. Now beware though that once this fills up, I don't think this stops burning. So in general, it's actually not a big deal because you've just gained 8 times as much burn time out of it. But it's really good when you're actually using this or some other generator as your sole purpose of generating power. So yeah, I don't think this stops burning right here. I think it's this at this point now, since this is all filled up, this is all wasted. So again, not the end of the world. But anyway, I want to show you that is some really cool stuff. And mostly all generators use this. I can even use this in here. And so let's say, oops, not that one, that one. Let's say I want to cook that up. It will now use this. And it will burn, instead of 8 pieces, like a normal piece of coal, it will now burn a whole stack in here. So, and I get jungle wood, yay! I don't really care. So, yeah. So that's ultimately what red coal is used for. So use it, love it, and abuse it if necessary. All right, guys. Well, we are sadly out of time for this episode, but hope you learned some cool new stuff while I do a little bit of inventory here. So let's go ahead and get ready to sign off, and we will stick with our bread? No. Yeah. Look at that. That's a big old C. That's for Chokester. Right there. That's the moving C. All right, guys. Well, hope you had fun. Hope you learned a few things. And that new Tinker's smelter oven was pretty neat. And the red coal and all the other stuff, how to be efficient with your power. So, guys, well, I'm going to bid you adieu right here. So if you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. And I will catch you in the next one. Take it easy. Bye.